Good morning, boys. And great friend on today. Met this guy a few years ago. We've stayed in touch, been down my house. We had a couple of barbecues together, didn't we? Morning, Lou.
Morning, Dougie. Morning, lads.
Morning.
Morning.
Now, Louis is a great West Ham fan and a massive West Ham fan, in fact, but he's also a big fan of Italian football, as is his dad. And we want to get his dad on, but apparently his dad wouldn't have been able to refrain from using bad words. Yeah. So we've got Louis on. Look, I mean, me and Charlie spoke about this in the week. Sometimes when you get to a World Cup, you just imagine like teams that are there, didn't you? You always think that they're going to have Brazil, you're going to have Holland, you're going to have Italy, you're going to have Argentina. The third World Cup in a row that Italy haven't qualified. I mean, mate, they always bring style. I know it's going to sound funny, but like years ago when I used to watch the Italian team, even their kit looked better than anyone else. Do you know what I mean? It's like if you speak to a load of Italians, they're not worried about property. They'd rather wear their clothes on their back. They'd rather have nice cars. And I do think they bring that to the World Cup, and to not have them there. I mean, sadly, I think we've got to speak about the demise of Italian football, Lou. And have you got any ideas of what's happened?
I think a lot of it is, like in the early 90s in the Premiership, where you got the old Italians and the old foreigners who come in the Premier League when it weren't the biggest league. I think that's happening in Italy. We're getting the Girouds. We're getting the old guys. And obviously that prevents young talent coming through. And years ago, even the great AC Milan in the 90s, Juventus had 5 or 6 Italians playing. It's like Como, like a beautiful part of Italy. They're the richest club in Italy, technically. Got the richest owner. Then they're fielding teams and not one Italian on it, and they're 4th in the league. So I just think it's been a poor generation. I do think this one was quite unlucky, to be fair. It was a silly red card, changed the game. Yeah, we was in cruise control. We should have won. But in general, I'm happy with the 4 strikers we got. We just need a bit of creativity. Always got a good defence. But we did with the Euros in between, so I can take that at least. We've got Euros in. That ain't bad. But I know what you mean. And I heard they were talking about, because Iran can't play, they could talk about having Italy. I said to my dad, I wouldn't want to go that way. I would not want to go in because we'd be the most hated nation in that World Cup. Everyone you knock out, everyone would be like they didn't even qualify. So I definitely don't want to go down that route.
Right, they've just let Sweden go in, Lou, after finishing last in their group, where we spoke about this last week. Charlie, what do you think the problems are with Italian football, Charlie?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, you could start anywhere, couldn't you? You could start with the whole scandal with Juventus back then, and them getting demoted, and kind of Italian football kind of dropped off because of the reputation kind of got severely damaged. I mean, you look at teams like AC Milan now, have not got the squad that they once had. I mean, I grew up with AC Milan having always one of the best teams in the world. You just absolutely was terrified to play against them. With the national team, I mean, Italy was built on defence, yeah? We all think of Italy being that defensive nation. But they always had top strikers, didn't they? Like Del Piero, Inzaghi, Totti, Ravanelli. And I've looked at the Italian side for like the last 10 years, and it's just not there. Like real, not well-class strikers coming through. And I think that's been a big problem for them, because if you look at, I mean, they've done well in the Euros and stuff like that, but you always look at their qualification. I mean, now we've had 3 attempts and 3 times they've finished second. I mean, all right, one of those groups was Spain, so you couldn't really knock Italy for finishing second to Spain. But, I mean, Norway have had a great World Cup qualifier as well this time. But, they came second to Switzerland.
We should be beating Norway at home.
Yeah,
they've got a couple of great players at average around it. We should be beating them at home. I know they played well, so that's on our part. Even Israel, we struggled against. Yeah, like teams like that, and I think we don't have the fear factor as well. Like the smaller nations can just come to Italy and think we've beat these. Yeah. Even Northern Ireland in the semi-final. If they had a bit more quality, they could have won that game. They did everything right, Northern Ireland, like worked their asses off, done everything right. It's just we were just better with quality.
Robbie. Sorry, Robbie. You've got opinions?
Well, I have really. When you look at some of these players, I know you've said that there's not really a great striker, but when you see people like that Tonali and that Calafiori, the goalkeeper, I think they're good enough. Is some of this down to management?
Yeah,
You know, we spoke earlier, obviously, as a Chelsea fan, absolutely loved. I mean, we've done well with Italian managers at Chelsea. And it makes me think, you know, with Ancelotti, people like that. Ancelotti's gone to Brazil. When they get someone in like that who's got the experience, I don't know where it started. You're right, talking about defence and stuff. Some of these players are good enough to play for. They're playing at top clubs, so it is a strange one. I wonder if some of it does it mean the same for them playing internationally as it did in the past.
See what you're saying there. Oh, sorry.
Go on,
sorry.
Go on, Lou, sorry.
You saying that about Ancelotti, right? I think he's done a smart move going to Brazil because that is a World Cup Brazil. I do think Brazil have got a good chance. They're due it. Nice temperature, Mexico, like the southern states of America for them. I think Ancelotti will do the Italy job one day, but he can pick and choose and wait till it's a good generation again. Because our under 21s and the kids' teams are doing well. We've got kids coming through, but that's going to be another 4 years. And like you know, you look at any great when they say this youth academy, like say there's 10, you know, 3 or 4 of them make it, don't they? So we're banking on that as well. But no, Gattuso, he come in halfway. He had them reared up. I think it's just like that nervous. I think they just got nervous because it's a lot of pressure on them because like, a lot of them never played in the World Cup. Oh, no, the whole squad's never played in the World Cup. A lot of them's not even played in the Euros. So it's just the pressure on them being being Italian. And because when I was a kid, if an Italian manager like didn't get knocked out unluckily in a semi-final, he'd resign. Like quarter-final was nothing. You'd resign, and it's someone else's go. Now it's like it's just completely changed. But
Lou, I think it goes deeper than that, mate. I think we're just papering over the cracks here, mate. If you go back, you know, we do need to go back because we knew Italian football was in trouble. I think it was 2009, 2010. They asked Roberto Baggio to come up with a report, and he wrote a 900-page report. I'll read out briefly the lines I've put down in it. But if you look at them, what they've done, Charlie said about what happened with Juventus and the scandals, right? But what I didn't realise till I've looked into it, and this will be linked to us talking about West Ham later, Luke, where investment can come from, yeah? Like Milan, they had a great fan who put loads of money in, didn't they? Juve had a great fan. I didn't realise till I looked up, there's only 4 teams in Serie A, I think it's 3 or 4, that own their own ground. So the rest don't own their own ground. So when they're looking for investment or looking for buyers, what are they buying into? They're buying into the name, they're buying the image rights, they're buying the advertising, and they're buying the TV rights. But unfortunately, the TV rights have gone right down. If you look at what the Premier League is worth, it's worth double to what La Liga in Spain is and what Serie A is in Italy combined. Now, if you go back to when we love football, you know, every Sunday morning I would get up. I cannot think of that guy's name on Channel 4. He'd always be sitting... James someone when he'd be sitting in reading a newspaper, coffee in his hand, pair of glasses, and you all wanted to watch what went on in Italian football. We wanted to look at Trevor Francis, we wanted to look at Ray Wilkins, Graham Souness, everyone that had gone over there and done. Unfortunately, because the money's not there no more, bear in mind these are average figures, yeah? So obviously you've got big earners in all the leagues, but the average salary in Italy is 30,000 euros a week, right? The average salary in La Liga is 45, and the average figure in the James Richardson, thank you, Robbie. The average figure in the Premier League is 65 to 75. Now, don't forget, we've got big earners, but I also think what no one talks about, right? And I hate this, right, with a vengeance, and you know I want it out of the game. I mentioned to Charlie the other week, when Man United was in their heyday and they was getting to quarters and semis, he'd come off the pitch and Gary Neville would go to the commentator, who won? Who won? He didn't say, did Madrid win? Did this one? He went, did Juventus win? They had this thing in his head, Gary Neville, right? Because they could defend, yeah? And we all knew years ago, whether we liked it or not, if the Italians went 1-0 up, right, you know, probably that was going to be the end of the game, right? They was going to defend. They had probably the best defenders in the world. I don't think that the greatest Baresi, Maldini, I could go through forever are men, right, about Italian defenders. I think the way VAR is at the moment, I think them Italian defenders and learning the dark arts of Oldham. I'm trying to think of the Italian defender that used to put a pin in his top and he'd stand behind someone, he'd prod them in the back of their legs. They wouldn't get away with it now. They'd be getting a yellow card within the first 5 minutes. And I think the way that the game has gone, because I've looked a lot of this up, when it comes back to when we say the Guardiola syndrome, when he changed the way the game was played, Italy never ever didn't play without a number 10. The number 9 and the number 10 never ever come back. They never did. They never got pushed back. They would stay up there. And the game has changed. And unfortunately for Italy, the game's moved on. And whether we like it or not, but I also think when you've got 3 to 4 Italians in your main teams and the rest of them are made up of South Americans or Eastern Europeans, you're never, ever going to produce a team. And I've said it, that's probably why the England team doesn't do so well. And if you think that Euros you won when you beat England, it was a terrible final and it was a terrible tournament. You won it. Let's get it. I just want to read out.
For us.
No, I mean, I'm glad.
Be fair.
My mate went that final and he said to me, like, Luke Shaw scored, didn't he? And he said they sat 10 people behind the ball for the rest of the game in their own half, England.
You know what it was? I think Southgate bottled it. Once we were 1-0 down, we were lost in the headlights. And he should have gone for us. If he would have gone 2-0, game changed. But I just think Southgate kept done a Moyes, didn't he, like he does? We was there for the taking and we just grew into the game.
I agree. Now, look, I just want to read a brief overlay of what the Roberto Baggio report said. Right, this was in 2010, 2011. Well, that's where we go. It was a 900-page dossier presented to FIGC, I suppose, the Federation of International Football, when he was president of the technical sector. Baggio had been brought in after Italy's 2010 World Cup group stage exit to overall youth development. His main points were he wanted 100 federal training centres across Italy, one per district, each with fully registered Italian coaches, to run about 50,000 youth matches a year so talents get real time and are seen. He wanted it concentrated on football, playing football, not worried about the technical side. He wanted better facilities, coaching and education. Coaches should have degrees and broader professional backgrounds, not just ex-players. He wanted a permanently study groups with universities and he wanted data analysis. All the players now wearing their little black bars under their thing, data analysis. Don't forget, Baggio wanted this in 2010. Scouting and data, build a national digital archive, video database to track every young player, plus technical tests, coordination and ball control decision-making. Not just picking the biggest kids. Technique over tactics. Always stop drilling tactics too early. Focus on individual technique and creativity first. Was meritocracy. More playing time for Italian youngsters. Fewer foreign players blocking pathways into Serie A. He basically said that the council heard in a meeting that it lasted a few dozen minutes, promised 10 million to start, but the money never came about and the plan was shelved. Baggio quit in 2013, saying it was a waste of time and his ideas were ignored. It was brought up again after Italy missed the 2008 in 2024. Do you know the saddest indictment, right? And you're not going to believe what I say to you here, right? The Italian rugby team, right? And this is even worse, right, when I see this stat. And the Italian cricket team have won more World Cup matches than the Italian football team. And you don't think of Italians as playing cricket.
I didn't even know they played cricket. I know rugby. I know
they've won more World Cup matches.
What in recent years, obviously, yeah.
Over the last 12 years. Now, Charlie, you looked into the Dutch when it happened to the Dutch, when their total football, suddenly that generation went and they weren't qualifying. Was theirs roughly the same as what Baggio was saying?
It was a big focus on restructuring from the youth onwards. It was more of a structure in how to build a cohesive team, even if it's full of star players, because the Dutch were infamous to kind of get into tournaments and then imploding, wasn't they? The Dutch always had a good side, but then something had happened, then it would cause a rift. But I think they were so shocked by the team they had and not qualifying. It was like, right, how do we now build a more cohesive team? Like I say, and starting from youth football upwards. England did something similar after we didn't qualify for the Euros in 2008. St George's Park was come off the back of that, and they started bringing in rules for the Premier League also. You had to have a certain amount of homegrown players in your squads and that. But with Italy, yeah, they just seem to take no notice. I mean, look, they did win the World Cup in 2006. In 2010, they finished bottom of their group. England finished third. We both got knocked out of that by Uruguay and Costa Rica. So the warning signs were there. But it just feels like with Italian football, they just decided it was kind of like a one-off kind of thing and didn't really take any notice.
Sorry, just a touch on that. It's missed the last three, and the two before that knocked out the group stage. And the one before that won it, because the one before the one when we both finished got knocked out, we got done by New Zealand. The South Africa World Cup. We got done by New Zealand. It was New Zealand, Slovakia, and another nation.
Robbie, did you? Apparently, they're the last team to win it that have been knocked out of 3 consecutive World Cups. Did you love Italian football, Robbie? Even though a lot of it was defensively minded years ago.
We say that though, but when you look at the teams like, I mean, remember the Milan team with Gullit and Van Basten, they were smashing teams left, right, and centre. Ancelotti, when he was at AC Milan, he probably played some of the best football I've ever seen at Chelsea. So I don't think it's, all of that. I agree with the young players and the academies and things. But there's a thing, I've got 2 things I want to bring up. One is when Spain were winning their tournaments, they created this, I think, thousands and thousands of qualified coaches, which changes the mentality of the players. And the other one, I've got a mate who's German. I'll get him on here at some point because his football knowledge is brilliant. He just supports a team that I'd laugh at. But he said in Germany, when they have a bad World Cup, they rip it up. They throw everyone out and they start again. And he said what they do there is when they play, say they play like for the under-21s, and if they get promoted to the national team, they never, ever play for the under-21s again. Which is something in England, you'll see players playing for Tuchel and then playing for under-21s. I don't know how that works in Italy, but he said they don't allow it. You're in one, you go to the next, and they create this mentality, and it's usually why they're pretty good at tournaments. So I don't know what happened with Italy, but something's in the mindset.
But Robbie, how can it be that Italian football, right, there's only 35% of players in Serie A are Italian? That can't be right.
I'll tell you another thing that don't help. Sorry, Robbie, with the lower league teams that come up, if you look at Milan, Inter, Juventus, they have massive youth academies. And like you said, they're getting Scottish players, Eastern European players, South American players. Now, if you look at most of the smaller teams, half their squads are loan players. They can't afford a squad. So they're not even getting Italians to put in because there's like a young South American kid going there. Sorry to butt in. It's things like that as well where we don't have that. I think you can loan 2 players off each other in the Premier League, can't you? Premier League to Premier League. That's what you because it gets silly then. And in Italy as well, the loan players can play against the parent club. Right. Sure, that's a recipe for disaster there, isn't there, for a bet or something, isn't there?
Yeah.
Well, look what happened to Parma. Parma was a great footballing team.
Yeah, but they were money running.
That was money running. I mean, look, both Milan clubs and Roma are owned by Americans. Is probably saying in that. I can't imagine the Americans are, bothered about getting them clubs back to the top of where they were. And
no,
a whole mixture of things.
And what you said, Dougie, about the stadiums, that's I think it's Juventus. And since they built their own stadium, they've made like money. Yeah, they've made a little shopping complex. They've made it like they're like the only Premier League standard sort of stadium football club there is, isn't it? Roma tried. I think they've just been approved. It's the council saying no. Like, look at, I'm a Napoli fan, my Italian club. Napoli, people moan about West Ham. It's like a mile away from the pitch. And the atmosphere. Now, imagine if they had some money and built like a German stadium when you're standing on top of each other at 60,000. No one's going to want to go there, and are they? So you're right about the stadiums. The whole thing needs a revamp. From the leagues, from the lower leagues, everything.
The problem is, Lou, if you're looking at, we'll come on to West Ham in a minute, but West Ham, Tottenham, let's go Tottenham, Robbie's favourite club. Right? They make $5 million a game for a game, for the sales of the clubs, the food, everything around the game. That's what they make, corporate and everything else. West Ham can't do that. The Italian teams can't do that. They can't extend the grounds. They can't build the ground. They can't do anything. I mean, most are owned by local councils or private entity. And that's not right, because you're not, when you want to sell the club and you want to get investment into the club, straight away, Man United got a stadium. Chelsea got a stadium. Forget the image right. With the Italian teams, unless you've got super fans, and we spoke about super fans earlier on, like the Abramovich and Steve Gibbs, Jack Walkers, it don't come. And for me, it's sad. Now, Charlie, if Iran don't go, would you think there should be playoffs, or would you like Italy to go?
I think, look, from a World Cup standpoint, you could, like you said earlier, there's certain teams you just expect to be there. It would be along the lines of when Denmark didn't qualify for the 92 Euros, wasn't it? And then, who was it? Yugoslavia got thrown out. And then Denmark ended up winning it, didn't they? It's not how you want to go into a World Cup, is it? You want to go on the back of qualifying. Look, I don't agree with the whole UEFA Nations League and getting the playoff spot from there like Sweden did. I don't think Italians would want to get in it that way, but then I suppose once they're there, you just got to think, well, right, let's just go and try and win it now.
Yeah. Do you think the same, Robbie? Hold on, Luke. They're just so passionate.
Well, I think that's difficult because, I'm in Poland, and the Poles would say, well, we lost the playoff final as well. So then what, you create another game of all the losers to play again until you eventually get one? I think this goes back to the World Cup shouldn't be where it is. They should just give it straight to Mexico, but I don't think you should get in. If it was my club team, you're going to take it if you're in, but you would feel it's not right.
Dirty. It's dirty, isn't it? It's dirty.
Yeah, you wouldn't feel right about it.
I think the fairest thing, because they come under Asia, Iran, the two highest ranked ones who didn't qualify, let them play a one-off game. Whoever they be, because it's an Asian spot as well.
Yeah, I agree. Louis, it's been fantastic. We wanted to get Louis' dad on, but Louis said his dad would have lost the plot like banging Italian football. Oh, mate, I just love the passion. I love going to Italy. Charlie went to Rome last year. You loved it there, Charlie, didn't you? You know what I mean? The people were fantastic. The history there, walking around the Colosseum and everywhere. And in Milan, I mean, if you looked, I think it was 89 to 99, there was 10 Italian teams in consecutive Champions League finals. And to suddenly see the demise of a team, and we've spoke about American owners just now, believe it or not, Lou, when we did Sun It Out. Lou, you're a West Ham fan, right? So we should talk a little bit about your love of West Ham. That's how we met, like me. But first of all, last week we did predictions, us four guys, for the FA Cup quarterfinals. And Robbie, do you remember who we predicted?
Well, I remember you were the only one who predicted Southampton to win against the Bottle Jobs last night, and they did. So I think that's a great pick. I picked City to win, Chelsea to win, obviously, and then I've done West Ham to win today, haven't I?
Charlie, do you remember what you did?
I think I picked City to win, picked Chelsea to win by a good margin. I picked Arsenal just because I thought they'll just kind of grind out the result, and I think I just slightly went West Ham today.
Yeah, well, I thought, because it was Salah's last hurrah, I thought Liverpool would really give it a go. They're not going to get in the Champions League. I can't tell you how poor they was. I watched the Coventry Derby game the night before. Mate, it was a fantastic game. The pace, I mean, they should have got a penalty early, and the refereeing weren't the greatest. But it was a really good game. When I watched Liverpool, now we've gone on about Salah last week. Was he a Premier League legend? Charlie and I sort of fell out a little bit over it. We spoke about Lampard earlier on when he first went to West Ham. When he left West Ham, he was 2 stone overweight. When Salah was waddling down the right wing yesterday, he looked like 1.5 stone, 2 stone overweight. For some unknown reason, he ended up on the left early on in the game. And he had a shot and it hit the corner flag. It hit the right. He was on the left side because he likes to cut in, doesn't he? And always use his left foot. I thought they were so poor. So when I watched the Arsenal game, I thought they're going to put their best players out. They've got to show that they're not going to bottle it after what happened at the Carabao Cup and got really outplayed. And I'll tell you, over the 90 minutes, Southampton deserved it. And there was ructions yesterday. They're saying, why did he say Saka? Why did he say Rice? Why did he say a few others? They said because to go to Sporting, or are they injured? We don't know if they was injured or not. but they was poor. That Ben White was bad at the back, Saliba, and they totally deserved it. Did you watch any of the football yesterday, Lou?
No, I was out with Archie. I'm absolutely shattered taking him to the farm, so I ain't watched none of it. I saw the results. I was being present with the family, but today I've said after this, it's West Ham, and tomorrow it's Napoli, AC Milan. So because in Italy I do a lot of Easter Monday football. They spread it.
Yeah, Charlie, did you see anything yesterday?
Yeah, I actually thought Liverpool weren't too bad in the first half. I didn't think they was that bad. I didn't really watch the Chelsea game just because I knew it was just going to be, well, how many would Chelsea score? I did see someone online reckon it could be the worst 5-0 win they've ever seen in their life at one point. So I don't think Chelsea must have played that well. But with Southampton, I've got to give them massive credit for how they played. They look so dangerous on the break. Every time they hit Arsenal, they look like it was causing them real problems. And I think they deserve to go through.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we had a young lad on here, George, earlier on in the season when he was telling us how he loves Arsenal's long throws and loves them scoring from corners. And he said to us, we're going to win the 4. Now, they've gone out the Carabao. They've gone out the FA Cup. We spoke about mental toughness. And do you think now they're under so much pressure now? Because I tell you, City suddenly have started playing like a real good team, Robbie.
I do. And the thing is with City, they've got the experience of winning. So even when you're not at your best, I mean, they looked good yesterday. I watched bits of it yesterday. They did look good, and I hope we avoid them in the semi-final. But you got to look. We play City next week, so you got to fancy them to win that the way Chelsea are defending, and it puts pressure on. It goes back to with managers when we spoke about Mourinho, Guardiola, all of these managers. They've won things. They changed the mindset, so they're under pressure. I think yesterday, he underestimated Southampton, which is kind of stupid because they were a Premier League team. It must have seen other Premier League teams have lost cup games against lower teams. Chelsea struggled against Wrexham. You know, that's why he put a full squad out yesterday in our game. And it was obviously that was quite easy because we scored in the first minute, but it was a bit of a stroll. But you're expected to beat these teams. But you need to put your best players out. And I think he underestimated Southampton. And good luck
Absolutely.
to them.
Well, Robbie, listen, Sunderland didn't beat Paul Val, no Premier League.
Yeah.
Charlie, before we speak to Louis about West Ham, did you think he underestimated it and he should have played a stronger team? Or do you think he really is? If he bottles the league and he bottles the European Cup, Champions League, whatever you want to call it, I think he's gone.
I still don't think... I think the side they put out should have still beat Southampton. I just think it was the way Southampton played and the crowd were up for it. It was a cracking atmosphere, proper good FA Cup tie. I think they'll get past Sporting, but I can't see them getting past either Barcelona or Atletico anyway. And I think they will win the league because I think City will still end up dropping points somewhere along the line.
Yeah, I think Arsenal can't lose any points. Right, Lou, Robbie, if you need to go, thank you for coming on.
It's a busy day. So happy Easter, everyone, and we'll catch up soon. All right.
All right. Take care, Robbie. Thanks for coming.
Bye.
See ya.
Lou, let's talk about West Ham. Why West Ham for you then, was it?
Oh, I'm just from Forest Gate. You don't have a choice, do you? Your old man's West Ham. His old man was West Ham. It's like when my granddad first come over here. He was in North London originally. Island, a lot of Italians were there. Then he went to Forest Gate because it was a Catholic area years ago. So he started going. Then my great grandfather come over. He started going West Ham. That's it. It's just in you. When you're from there, it's just your club, thick and thin. Yeah,
I agree. A lot of problems. A lot of our fans are saying we call it the Soulless Bowl, our stadium. You said about Napoli's the same. Do you think we put too much into it? That the stadium is the root cause of the problems with the protests and everything else, or do you think the move from Upton Park really, really damaged us as a team and a club?
I'll be honest, yeah. Before Tottenham got involved with the stadium move, that stadium would have been given to us, made into a football ground. It'd have been perfect. And I did think we needed to leave Upton Park because we'd always be a mid-table team where the Premier League was going. But I honestly do think it's the what's the expression? The white elephant is costing the government millions. At some point, they're just going to go, it's yours, West Ham. Do what you want with it. because we only pay what 2.5 million. They reckon they're forking out 10 million a year. So why would the government keep it? They're going to give it to us at some point. I can see that happening. And once it's given to us, hopefully we get someone who buys us and makes it more into a football ground. Because there were plans to do that before Tottenham.
Yeah, I looked yesterday because we spoke about the Italian clubs that don't own their stadiums, and there's only 2 in the Premier League that don't own their own stadiums. Cities, which was the Commonwealth, where they had the Commonwealth Games, but they did turn it into a football stadium. They've got a 250. Yeah, they've got a 250-year lease, and we have got a 99-year lease, which is 3 million a year. But that's it. We don't pay for the police. We don't pay for the stewards. We don't pay for anything. We don't pay for the upkeep of the game. And I'm surprised the London taxpayers, for all these, new bills coming out, paying to go through Dartford Tunnel more, paying to go through Blackwall Tunnel more. I'm surprised that some of the local London taxpayers have gone, hold on a minute, either sort something out with West Ham and move them somewhere else and use it as prime real estate, or get a price off of West Ham and get them to buy. Do you think this year we survived the drop?
I do. And I'll be honest, that last game with Tottenham Forest, I know we all would love it to be Tottenham, but realistically, they're the better squad that could get out of it. So I did want them to beat Forest. I wanted Forest to be demoralised, but against Villa, we just didn't turn up, did we? And I think he's got to go back to the 4 now. I know, do you know what I mean? When he's gone back to the 5, he's just sitting on it. We go back to the 4. Today, what's a good thing about today? Even if I think we're going to win today. If we don't win today, it's not like we're mid-table and we got nothing to play for and it's ruined the season. Then it's like, come on, straight onto keep it to the league. So either way, I do think we're staying up. I do, and I think if the season started in January, I'll be saying I want a Conference League spot. If the season started in January, how we've been playing with Tatty and the new signings, but I know it's like, bad. We've been so much better at Piquet. We just carrying him, weren't we? For 5 minutes for him to do a little bit of magic. Yeah, it's just ridiculous how good you can be.
I watched the channel the other night, Lou, a YouTube channel. I won't name them, but they want Tatty and who's the other one? I can't Bally in it. They want him out. They don't want him playing. They reckon they don't bring enough. For me, they give pace up front. They give us a high press. They always attack the goalkeepers. They always attack the fullbacks, which forces mistakes. Charlie, have you got Louis' confidence about West Ham staying out? Because I think Tottenham Forest Leeds, all they've got to do is match West Ham or better. And if you look at the goal difference, I've looked at the goal difference in every league like this morning. And the teams with the worst goal difference are the teams that are down the bottom of all the leagues. You think, Charlie?
I mean, I've been saying it for a few weeks. I think your goal difference is a real problem. I mean, the thing is, at the moment, the problem is you can't really see West Ham winning by a good margin, like going maybe somewhere and winning a 5 or a 6-0. And I mean, at one point, if Tottenham would have kept that Igor Tudor, you'd probably thought, well, Tottenham, they might be able to match Tottenham's fucking goal difference. Sorry for swearing, but because Tottenham just looked like they was going to get beat about 4-5-0 every week. With De Zerbi now in charge, you think Tottenham would get the points. But what I like about West Ham is, apart from the Villa game, they was always picking up points. Even if it was a draw, it was still a point. I still do think you will pick up quite a few amount of points. And I think what might help you out is the fact that Forest are in the Europa League. And if they carry on in it, it might affect their league form enough.
Yeah, Charlie, you're spot on. I'm following them in Europe. Yo, go on, let's go further. Win it. No, but you see what you were saying. It's like, to go back to both of you saying, I can't believe anyone said Tatty hasn't brought anything. Him chasing down everything brings us up the pitch. He's changed it for me, Tatty. The work he's done back on that. But I've completely lost my mind here. What I was thinking, something you said.
You're saying about what Charlie said. I agree with you about Tatty, because the thing is, Lou, what you suddenly realise with the pushing he's doing and pushing higher, we're playing higher, and the defence is playing higher. What it's doing, it's suddenly giving Bowen and Somerville more space. Suddenly, Somerville looks a lot of better player. Bowen looks like he's going back to his own self. Where this year they were so intent on playing a lot deeper and defending. Suddenly we're thinking of attacking because of the two up front are pushing a lot higher, and we're making teams make mistakes.
Do you know what? I know it sounds silly. Little things in a football game, it's made me think we'll stay up. Do you know when we just lost the game against Chelsea and Torpedo got sent off and they all steamed in? Even though we lost and we were so unlucky to loss, I thought they're up for it. Their heads are not down. They were so wound up for not getting a minimum of a point at the bridge. Silly little things like that. I thought, no, they're up for it. They've not lost their heads. We're going to stay up. Oh, no,
we should have won that 4-0. We should have been 4-0 up at half time, Lou.
Yeah.
Right, let's get today out of the way, Lou. I don't want to keep you all day. You've had your. What is your predictions against Leeds today? Leeds haven't scored a Premier League goal in something like 415 minutes. Now, I know it's a cup game. I don't think Leeds can score, and I don't think we can score. So I'm hopefully we've got the penalty takers we had when we won the last one against Brentford. Do you think we'll win today?
I reckon 2-1. 2-1 we'll win. Plus, I've got over 2.5 on that game as well.
Charlie?
I think the fact that you've just said Leeds ain't scored in so long and that you struggle to score goals, I'm going to go 3-2 West Ham.
You talk about then more than 2.5 goals, Lou. I think it was Millwall and someone beating us that won you quite a few quid a while back, didn't it?
First game of the season. We lost against Sunderland 3-0. Millwall, I think, scored 1 or 2 in injury time, and Sheffield Wednesday and someone else. It all happened right at the end.
Did your missus have all that money out of you?
She does, yeah. And what I have to do is go like, this is yours. I'm going to buy crypto and the rest. I'll just give her a bit. What do you want? Yeah. So she's happy. I go, right, I'll buy a crypto now. Done.
I'll tell you off air what he won. You like them bets, Charlie, didn't you?
Yeah, I'll do both teams to score over 2.5 goals, yeah.
Oh. All right. So it can't be a 3-0 then. It has to be a 2-1.
No, it can't be a 3-0. It's got to be like 2-1, something like that.
Yeah,
but it's a good price.
Charlie, when is the draw for the FA Cup?
It might be after today, innit? It might be after today. Today's the last game, innit? So it's either after today's game or probably Monday.
Yeah, and I mean, if being honest, I mean, I've got loads of Leeds fans, right? Julie's from up north, like from that way, so a lot of her mates and a lot of their husbands are Leeds fans. So I keep in touch with them regular. And even this morning, a couple of them messaged me and gone, "Look, may the best team win, but let's hope we both don't get injuries." I mean, one guy's messaged me this morning, and he's put, "Like, I'm not going to go down." I'll tell you what he said it would cost him. By the way, I don't know if we told you that West Ham sold the tickets to the Leeds fans for 15 quid, and there's 9,000 of them coming down. I don't want us to win it, mate. It will cost me 400 to go to Wembley for a semi-final, which spoils the final, which is quite a sad way to think about the FA Cup final, isn't it?
They should be neutral grounds like it was before. It's always Villa, weren't it, for Northern team, Southern team? It does. Like, imagine if you're Port Vale and somehow you beat Chelsea, and you know what I mean? It's good for them because they get a day at Wembley, but like you said, it ruins it. It does.
Yeah, I agree. Well, boys, absolutely amazing. I'm still absolutely gobsmacked that Italy once again didn't do it. I wanted to see the Italian football there, but I say it's just changed. And I said, that they've got to really start now. They've got to get players to defend more, and they've got to go back, backwards, sideways. Where if you look at it, we like football going forward, don't we? I think everyone on the planet likes to see you go forward. We don't want to see 25 passes sideways and 6 backwards, and then 4 it goes up. It's becoming, to be quite honest, a lot of kids are saying to me it's boring. You know, I mean, I think they're doing kids for £1 today, Luke, because they never sold all the tickets over West Ham.
Yeah. No, I did have a look. I couldn't get 4 together. I was going to take them over and get the train down, but I couldn't get 4 all together. I had a look the other day.
Let's hope so. Boys, it's been an absolute pleasure. Great having you on, Lou.
Yeah,
thanks everyone. Have a lovely Easter. Enjoy your Easter. And let's hope for a good semi-final today.